Hello, welcome to this fourth video of our Learning Fundamental Analysis. In this video, I will be discussing balance sheet. In last three videos, I have discussed from scratch, we have discussed profit and loss statements. And in this particular video, I will start with the balance sheet. Balance sheet is another like the second component of the financial statements. So let me share my screen and let me show you how balance sheet looks like. In this video, I will try to show you lots of real life examples. I hope my screen is also visible to you. So just a moment. Yes. Sorry, taking a little time. So I'm trying to write a little bit so that it becomes clear, and let me make it big, make the screen bit, font bit bigger. So in this, now today's topic is balance sheet. And every time, just a reminder, whenever you will look into balance sheet, profit and loss statements, cash flows, whatever you start reading, always keep in mind, always try to find out whether you are doing standalone or consolidated. We have discussed this topic in earlier videos. So if you are reading consolidated statements in case of profit and loss statement, then balance sheet also should be consolidated. Or if it is, if any of the financial statement is standalone, then rest also should be standalone for your analysis purpose. So balance sheet, just want to discuss from the very scratch. In the layman's language, there are two components, asset and liability, right? One side is asset, another one side is liability. Sorry. Okay, it's basically liabilities. Okay, asset and liability. Let it be in this way. So the difference between asset and liability is your net worth. This is very important because net worth is a terminology which is very highly used. We are very acquainted with this terminology. Even in our personal finance also, often it is asked one's net worth. When like we try to find out, or let's say there is rating of who among the top top 10 richest person in the world, then it is rated on the basis of net worth of a person, right? So net worth is a very important concept. It is nothing but asset minus liability. There's a golden formula in commerce. Everyone knows it. Still, let me mention it. Your asset must be equal to your liability and plus equity. This is the golden formula of balance sheet. So in a balance sheet, you will find one side there is asset, another one side there is a liability, and on the top of the liability, you will find this equity section, right? So this equity, as I have already mentioned, asset minus liability is net worth. And now again, I'm saying asset equal to liability plus equity. That means equity is equal to your net worth, right? Equal to one company's net worth, right? So equity can be like the terminology can be mutually used, alternatively used, equity or net worth, right? So let's just before getting into the actual example, let me tell you, asset or liability, whatever it is, there is long-term asset and short-term asset as well. Long-term asset and short-term asset, right? And you will get a total of long-term asset, total of short-term asset, and then you will arrive at total asset. Similarly, equity section is completely different, remains on the top. And then basically when actual balance sheet is made, this liability part is liability parts remain on the left hand side, or like it remains on the top, liability equity section remains on the top, asset remains on the bottom. In that way also it is represented. Acha. Now let me tell you, here also similarly in the liability part you will get long-term liability and here you will get short-term liability. Spelling mistake. Short-term liability. Let's come to long-term asset. Long-term asset means whatever asset which is not movable within 1 year, that is long-term asset. Like your for a company, its establishment, its property, plant, equipment, all these are long-term assets. These are not movable within a short span of time. So these are all your long-term assets. But there are certain elements which are movable, which are disposed of within a very short span of time. Those are like, let's say, your inventory. Your inventory. That is your short-term asset, right? Let's say your cash in bank. This is one another short-term asset. Now investment, some of the components you will find in the both of the places. Investments, it can be a component in the long-term assets as well as it can be a component in the short-term assets. Some of the investments may be in mutual fund, maybe in long-term securities, maybe in the stocks, maybe in the FDs. Those are all long-term investments. But some of the investments maybe in short-term, very short-term T-bills, 91 days T-bills. So these are all short-term investment, right? So these are the examples. In the let's move to the liability portion. Again, here also you will find some long-term liability. You will find, sorry, long-term debt. And here you will find, you will get, sorry, it's difficult to move in this way. Short-term debt. Now, what is long-term debt? Long-term debt is the debt which is repaid beyond 1 year, means the repayment period is more than 1 year. So that is long-term debt, and short-term debt is like which you have to repay within 1 year. So this is the general understanding. So your working capital loan is mainly short-term in nature, but whatever loan one company takes for the purpose of setting up a factory, that is usually long-term debt, right? So these are the basic concepts of long-term debt and short-term debt, and long-term asset and short-term asset. So now let's go to the actual balance sheet of one company. Now I will start with two types of companies parallelly. One company is, sorry, just a moment. One company is, this is Ultratech Cement. And another one company I have taken, this is Infosys. Now, why I have taken two companies from two different sectors? One is Ultratech Cement, which is a cement major, and Infosys is an IT major. The difference between why I have taken these two companies in term completely different pole, because two companies have similar structure of the balance sheet, but the component of the balance sheet will find different weightage. What I mean to say, Ultratech Cement is a cement company, means it is asset heavy company, right? You will find lots of asset in this particular company, right? Lots of physical asset I am referring here. But in contrast, whenever you will go to a company like Infosys, they do not require any physical infrastructure. They do not require any plant, any property to support their operation. They do not require any equipment. So property may be there, but plant and equipment is completely absent, right? So this type of, and when in a company like Ultratech Cement, its major asset is physical in nature. There, Infosys like type of company where you will not find any as such assets of physical in nature. You will find more intellectual asset, but that intellectual asset will be absent or very low in case of a cement company. So that is the difference. So Infosys is an asset light model. This Ultratech Cement is an asset heavy model. That's why I have taken these two different companies. Now let's start. I was referring like asset, sometimes asset remains on the top, liability remains on the bottom, equity and liability. Sometimes equity and liability remains on the top, asset remains on the bottom. It completely depends on the company who is basically presenting the balance sheet. And always this 2 years comparison is given, so that people can compare. Now your assets, I was referring it long-term asset, that is non-current asset. Okay, long-term asset means non-current asset, means it's not current. Okay, short-term means it's current. So non-current asset, the first line item is property, plant and equipment. Okay, now you just have a look at the property, plant and equipment. It's 50,000 crore. Its unit is in crore. Okay, you can see here rupees in crore, Okay, so its property, plant and equipment is 50,126 crore as per 31st March 2024. 50,000 crore, just imagine. Let's go to Infosys. This is also in crore, right? This is also in crore. Let me zoom it a little bit. So this is also in crore. This is property, plant and equipment. Just have a look. 12,370 crore. Ultratech Cement had 50,000 crore. This company is 12,000 crore. But both are very big companies, right? Both are giant, or let's say frontliner in their respective space. But Infosys has a very relatively smaller property, plant and equipment, where the size of property, plant and equipment in Ultratech is much bigger. It's 4 times bigger than Infi. Okay. Now the next line item which is visible, that is capital work in progress. Now another thing, like in property, plant and equipment, last year it was 46,480 crore. This year 50,126 crore. That means it has increased. 4,000 crore almost 3,600, 700 crore has been added in this period of time. That means this company has acquired some of the asset, purchased some of the asset, okay, developed some of the assets. So that's why their property, plant and equipment is on the higher side in the next year. That means this company has done some capital expenditure, capex, right? This terminology I'll be using several times. This is called capex. And in fee, capital work in progress is means some of the expenditure, capital work, some of the maybe some plant, one plant is under construction. So that comes under capital. Whatever has been booked, whatever the expenses have been booked, is reflecting as capital work in progress. That is not complete. Okay. Now next line item you can see, this is goodwill. This goodwill, what is goodwill? This goodwill is basically whenever you will find goodwill is there in the balance sheet, just keep in mind that means there was some acquisition. Company must have acquired some other company. That's why goodwill is there. This company has a goodwill of 5,489 crore, almost 5,490 crore. No, sorry, this is, I think there is an alignment problem in my eye. So goodwill is 6,345 crore. Right, 6,345 crore. It's heavy, right? That means this company has acquired another company, and from there this goodwill is coming. Now the question is, what is goodwill? So a company when acquires another one company, let's say I am acquiring, Ultratech Cement has acquired one XYZ company whose balance sheet value, whose total asset value is 5,000 crore. Now Ultratech Cement may decide, obviously the company who is selling their asset, they will bargain for the higher. So finally like valuation team will decide the final price. Now some of the premium over the asset, over their asset may be there, so that may be due to their existing business, which you cannot replicate in your numbers. What I mean to say, you just consider you are acquiring one particular company, its assets, but this company is doing some business, so its brand may be present in the market. If not brand, maybe their products are going to the market, means there are some customer base of that particular company. So they have created certain market. They have the company you are acquiring, that company must have must have some presence in the market. So which may pay you off, which may pay off the acquirer, right? So whatever, and that is something which is not visible, that is not physical. Okay, you have 10 companies, 10 clients in your means whenever you have served, you have 10 clients. So you have some sort of recognition for your product. So for that I cannot pay for. I'm an acquirer. You are the acquiring. So whenever I'm acquiring you, whatever your asset is, based on that I will be paying you. Let's say you have 5,000 crore of asset, I'm paying you 5,000 crore. But due to your presence in the market, I'm ready to pay you little more than your asset. So somewhere this bargaining between me and you can come to 6,000 crore. So that 6,000 crore, right, that addition to your actual asset value is your goodwill. That extra amount, the additional amount which the acquirer is ready to pay over its asset value, that is goodwill. So that is why this goodwill is there, as this company must have acquired some company. Next one is other intangible assets. Now, intangible assets, goodwill is also kind of intangible, right? It's not tangible, it's an intangible. That's why the other intangible asset is said. What is the other intangible asset? Let's say there are some patents. So this intangible asset is very prominent in IT companies. Okay. Many companies, not only in IT companies, many where you will find these other intangible assets. There may be copyright of one particular software. That is an intangible asset. You cannot touch it. You cannot sense it. You cannot feel it. But you know there is something. So which pays you, which has some value in the market. And a writer has written a book. Uh, that book, whatever is available on the physical basis, it may cost 50 rupees, 100 rupees, 1000 rupees, right? But the intellectual property the writer has, for that he gets the copyright on his work, so that other people cannot replicate it and sell it in the market. So it is your copyright. Similarly, patent is also similar kind of, let's say, a technology you have innovated. So you will not want it to go to everywhere, just free of cost. So this is your patent. There are lots of technologies are patented. Okay, lots of technologies are patented. ताकि your process, maybe your technology, your process must not be copied. Let's say NVIDIA has developed one क्या बोलता है उसको component, server component, one graphics card. Let's say one graphics card. So there are so many manufacturers of graphics card, but NVIDIA has made it bit different. So they will obviously claim for the patent for that particular item, that particular graphics card, which may have some additional features, right? Now, other people also will try to replicate that, right? Replicate that feature so that they can also attract more customer, because it has the latest technology innovated by NVIDIA has some additional value over the traditional one, so that other companies cannot replicate their graphics card design or the feature. That is why this company, means NVIDIA, will apply for patent. They will get patent, means it is protected. Now, another very valid example, let me give you. A pharma company. A pharma company spends years, 20 years, 25 years just for developing one product. It is called क्या बोलते हैं उसको proprietary medicine. ठीक है? It is not a generic one, proprietary medicine. Generic terminology आप लोग सुने होंगे. So what is generic? Generic means the copycat, right? Copycat. India, US is the biggest market, pharma market, and India is one of the major player in the US pharma market. But the difference is India is the generic player. Indian companies, आप ले लो डॉक्टर रेड्डी, सिप्ला, लुपिन, जो कंपनीज आपको दिखेगा इंडियन कंपनीज, all are generic companies. All are generic companies. In their product portfolio, 1-2 patented medicine may be there, but their main play is generic medicine. They make copyright or they replicate products of other companies. Now, बात है कि कोई कभी भी जाके कॉपी कर सकते. कैन यू रेप्लिकेट अदर्स ड्रग एट एनी पॉइंट इन टाइम? आप सोचो, like whenever a company develops a medicine, innovates a medicine rather, it takes years, 20 years, 25 years. For that period of time, the management of the company pays heavily to their scientists. एक proprietary medicine develop होने में you can take, like, it took 10 years on the lower case. Let's say it took 10 years and there are 5 scientists involved. So for 10 years you have been paying those scientists. Now the medicine is ready. Now you got regulatory approval, you are going to launch your medicine. Now tomorrow if I go and say I will replicate your product, so will it be justified? Obviously not. Then your entire effort for developing for innovating a product will go meaningless, right? That is why whenever a drug is uh, innovated, regulator gives approval for the first time. Simultaneously, the company manufacturer applies for the patent, and patent becomes valid for 20 years, minimum 20 years. So that within that 20 years, no other company can copy that particular product, nor cannot sell that particular product. This, the innovator of the company only will have the exclusive right to sell that particular drug in the market. ठीक है, फॉर दैट 20 years. तो सो दैट, एंड ऐसा टाइम में क्या होता है कि ड्रग प्राइस ऑल्सो रिमेन्स क्वाइट हाई, सो दैट देयर मेन टारगेट इज टू रिकवर द अमाउंट दे हैव इन्वेस्टेड फॉर 20 years. और 20 years के बाद वो इट विल गो ऑफ पेटेंट. जब वो ऑफ पेटेंट जाता है, तब क्या होता है कि कंपनीज लाइक इंडियन फार्मा कंपनीज, दे रिमेन, दे टारगेट दोज ऑफ पेटेंटेड मॉलिक्यूल्स, राइट. ये एग्रोकेमिकल में भी ऐसा होता है. लाइक इन एग्रोकेमिकल ऑल्सो मेनी जेनेरिक प्लेयर्स आर देयर हु कीप्स इन माइंड, मतलब दे remains updated about whatever patent is going to expire this year, next year, and accordingly they develop their medicine, their molecule, or let's say the copycat molecule, generic molecule. ठीक है, so this is the structure. So other intangible asset I was referring for cement companies. Now let me show you for Infi. You will find, yes, goodwill. Goodwill is there, 7,300 crore. And Infi is also like, this acquisition is also a big part of the IT companies as well. Now you have a look at it. Other intangible asset is 1,397 crore. 1,397 crore. You will say, this is not very big. I will say, no, this is not very small as well. Just have a look at its fixed asset. It is 12,000 crore. Against that, it is 1,400 crore. 12,000 crore of fixed asset, and intangible asset is 1,400 crore. Here, 50,000 is the, for Ultratech Cement, asset heavy company, 50,000 is the what should I say, 50,000 crore is the asset, physical asset, and intangible asset is how much? Other intangible is 5,600 crore, 5,500 crore. So for Infi, it is not small at all. There are many other companies. Ultratech छोड़ के आप जाओगे तो intangible asset और भी छोटा दिखेगा. Like Ultratech has they have heavy, they are heavily invested everywhere, so they must have applied for lots of patents, and that is why intangible asset is on the higher side. But Infosys kind of company, they must have patents for copyright for their softwares, their technologies, whatever they have developed. So that amount also must not be small. ठीक है, it differs from company to company. IT company में भी दिख जाएगा आपको इससे भी कम इंटेंजिबल एसेट, इससे भी कम फिजिकल एसेट वाला कंपनी आपको काफी सारा दिख जाएगा. तो दिस इज द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ द एसेट साइड, रादर नॉन करेंट एसेट साइड. इसमें बहुत कुछ हो सकता है. लोन्स हो सकता है. वाई लोन इज एन एसेट? बिकॉज यू आर गिविंग लोन. मैक्सिमम टाइम क्या होता है कि दे डू नॉट गिव, मतलब लोन कोई भी दे नहीं सकता है. मतलब यू कैन नॉट start giving loan tomorrow without getting RBI's license of being an NBFC. You cannot give loan. तो ये लोन एज एन एसेट आपके बैलेंस शीट में आया कहाँ से? तो ऐसा हो सकता है ना, आप आपके सब्सिडियरी को लोन दिए हो, तो रिलेटेड पार्टी ट्रांजैक्शन टाइप का. ठीक है, आप आपके एसोसिएट कंपनी को लोन दिए हो, दिस इज पॉसिबल, राइट. तो these are also financial assets. Investment, as I was referring, like long term investments जो होता है, that reflects here. इसके साथ अच्छा एक बार देख लेते हैं प्रॉपर्टी प्लांट एंड इक्विपमेंट को थोड़ा सा डिटेल्स में हम लोग देखेगा फॉर दिस कंपनी. नाउ यू कैन सी प्रॉपर्टी प्लांट एंड इक्विपमेंट इज 50,126 करोड़, जिसका पूरा एक्सप्लेनेशन आपको नोट नंबर 2 में मिलेगा. वी विल चेक व्हाट आर द प्रॉपर्टी प्लांट एंड इक्विपमेंट फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर कंपनी. This is the property, plant and asset, fixed asset, right? The breakup. See here, what are the line items? Land, tangible assets. See land, pre-owned land, leasehold land. अच्छा, buildings, railway sidings, plant and equipments. Railway sidings क्यों? इसलिए कि द सीमेंट कंपनीज ट्रांसपोर्ट हेविली थ्रू रेलवेज, और उन लोगों का खुद का वैगन्स होता है. मैक्सिमम कंपनीज का वैगन्स होता है. इसका तो अल्ट्राटेक सीमेंट का तो 100% होगा. तो दैट इज ऑल्सो काउंटेड एज एन एसेट, राइट? फर्नीचर एंड फिक्चर्स, व्हीकल्स, राइट? टोटल टेंजिबल एसेट्स इतना. अच्छा, अदर इंटेंजिबल एसेट्स, सॉफ्टवेयर है, माइनिंग राइट्स है, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. माइनिंग राइट्स क्या होता है? माइनिंग राइट्स, व्हाट इज माइनिंग राइट्स? तो अल्ट्राटेक सीमेंट का अपना लाइमस्टोन माइन है. दैट इज रॉ मटेरियल फॉर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सीमेंट, लाइमस्टोन. तो limestone is basically sourced by the manufacturer, cement manufacturer, from either from its own mine or from other sources. तो ये जो माइंस है, तो माइंस आर गिवन ऑन लीज फॉर सर्टेन ईयर्स बाय द गवर्नमेंट. वो ऑक्शन में मिलता है, ऑक्शन करता है, एंड फाइनली इट इज अलॉटेड टू सम कंपनी. तो आप देखोगे स्टील कंपनीज का भी अपना अपना माइंस है. टाटा स्टील, हाँ, आप पकड़ लो, सेल, स्टील अथॉरिटी इंडिया, सबका अपना अपना माइंस है. आयरन और माइंस है उन लोगों का. यहाँ पे लाइमस्टोन माइंस ही होगा, राइट? कुछ कंपनीज के पास अपना कोल ब्लॉक्स होता है, लाइक विच हेल्प्स इन विच वर्क्स एज अ फ्यूल. तो these are all mining, and as it is given on lease by the government, so it is for certain years they have to pay this much. Let's say they are paying 200 crore for 10 years of mining. ठीक है? तो this 200 crore will come as your intangible asset, right? अब उसका I have discussed regarding depreciation and amortization separately in profit and loss statement, right? Just a small reminder, whenever it is intangible asset, तो उसका जो डीके होगा, that must be uh, amortization, that is amortized over the period of time. आप एक साथ 200 करोड़ जो आप पे कर रहे हो टू द गवर्नमेंट, दैट इज नॉट डायरेक्टली चार्ज ऑन द बैलेंस शीट. सो what it is done, if the 10 years is the life, so over the period of 10 years you are distributing your entire cost of the mine, right? तो 20 करोड़ करके अगर ये स्ट्रेट लाइन मेथड है, मतलब फिजिकल एसेट के लिए स्ट्रेट लाइन मेथड्स आता है, तो इक्वली डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होता है. तो आपका, आई एम कमिंग टू दैट लेटर. तो माइनिंग में क्या हो रहा है कि आपका वो डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो रहा है 10 ईयर्स में. तो वट एवर इज गेटिंग चार्ज ऑन योर प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस स्टेटमेंट, दैट इज योर amortization, राइट? और फिजिकल एसेट जो होता है उसमें डिप्रिशिएशन होता है. जैसे मान लीजिए कि यू हैव अ कार, तो गवर्नमेंट, एज पर द गवर्नमेंट नॉर्म, तो मीन्स इनकम टैक्स इंडिया एक्ट, तो its life is 5 years. So you can use it for 15 years, 20 years, that is a different thing. But you, As per the government assessment, 5 years is the life. So your depreciation will be charged within, means will be computed within 5 years. So you will find your in 5 years its value will be zero, nil, right? So this is the way how this intangible assets, tangible assets, and depreciation amortization are computed. Okay. So I hope I have given a fair bit of idea here. Now again, let's go back. Here this is the Infosys. तो कुछ बेसिक है आपका, यू कैन गेट द ब्रेकअप एज वेल हियर। अदर इंटेंजिबल एसेट इसको थोड़ा देखना है, 2.4.2 इन्फी का। Now let me show you. See, this is the intangible assets। क्या है आप देख लो। कस्टमर रिलेटेड, सॉफ्टवेयर रिलेटेड, ठीक है, इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी राइट्स रिलेटेड, brand or trademark related. So these are the components on which this matlab these are the components which has been treated as intangible assets, right? तो आपका जो इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी आई वाज रेफरिंग, एक पेटेंट और कॉपीराइट, तो वट एवर इट इज, तो वो सॉफ्टवेयर पे कॉपीराइट ही आता है, पेटेंट फिजिकल प्रोडक्ट्स में आता है। तो इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी राइट्स आर अप्लाइड ऑन योर software products। सॉफ्टवेयर रिलेटेड अगेन सेपरेटली सेइंग सॉफ्टवेयर रिलेटेड, अच्छा ये उस वो और किसी में भी हो सकते हैं इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी, राइट? तो सॉफ्टवेयर रिलेटेड में 1031 करोड़ दिख रहा है। कस्टमर रिलेटेड आई एम नॉट वेरी श्योर कस्टमर रिलेटेड क्या है यहाँ पे। तो उसमें द कंपनी हैज गिवन द ब्रेकअप, तो द स्ट्रक्चर थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट है वहाँ का यहाँ का, मतलब एसेट हेवी एसेट लाइट का। So I hope I have given you a fair bit of idea here. Now again, let's go back. This is Ultratech Cement once again. So we have discussed all long-term assets. Now I will move to short-term assets. That is current assets, right? So current assets, you can have a check here. This is your current assets. I was referring inventory. The first line item is getting reflected with this is inventory, right? 8,330 करोड़ का इन्वेंट्री दिख रहा है। अब इन्वेंट्री यानी कि इट कैन बी योर end product inventory, it can be your raw material inventory. Basically it is a combination of both of the means your end product, your raw material, your spares, all together the inventory gets reflected, right? Investment, next component is investment. I was referring this investment in the long term and short term separately. So the company has investment of 5,500 crore, almost 5,484 crore in the short term investment. Now let me have a check if they had any investment in the long term. Yes, one. Now I will check 5 and 11. What are the line items involved? taking little time. Please keep little patience here. Note 5. I need note 5. All right. Here is note 5. Non-current investments. What are those investments? Just have a look at it. The company has invested into private equities, right? Means equities of the private companies. M plus Alpha Solar Private Limited, M plus Coastal Power Private Limited, M plus Dakshin Private Limited, M plus Sunshine, CleanMax, Thea Private Limited. So there are so many, I'm not reading out all those stuff. So these are all equity investments. It is written on the top, equity investments, right? You can see here equity instruments, right? So all the investments are here, equity investments. Now other financial assets, some derivative assets are there. Derivative assets क्यों है? क्योंकि these are mainly required for hedging purpose. ठीक है? So whenever you are exposed to various volatility, maybe commodity related volatility, maybe currency related volatility, you must hedge a part of your your products, commodities, right? Or maybe currencies. So to avoid risk. So that is the derivatives basically here. Here are the non-current assets. Okay. So you can see this is the non-current. Acha, non-current. I was referring non-current investment, right? Current investment. Sorry, this is already discussed. So current investments. Now let me find out. Now let me go back once. It will be easier for me to find out. Here, income tax, investments. This is note number 5, and this is done. And bank कहाँ गया? Investment 11, sorry, 11, note number 11. Keep little patience, I'm sorry. Actually, finding out real picture is bit time consuming. This is note number 5. You will get all the details in the notes. Those are very, very important factor. Note number 7. 7 और 17 के बीच में कुछ नहीं मिल रहा है. Moving so fast. Yeah, note number 12. Now you will get it here. Yes. 9 और उसके बाद कैसे आ रहा है? It must be that side. Current investment, just have a look. I was referring which is less than 1 year. See corporate bonds, taxable corporate bonds, government securities. I was referring T-bills, right? 91 days T-bills. तो ऐसा हो सकता है government securities. Those are all government securities. So they have invested 1.81 crore there. Taxable corporate bonds, they have invested 298.77 crore. ठीक है. Then they have invested in fixed deposit with financial institutions with maturity less than 12 months. So I was referring, it must be less than 1 year. So FD less than 1 year. So this is, they have invested 350 crore. These are all, these gives you lots of liquidity. This gives the company lots of liquidity. कभी जरूरत पड़ा तो they can, those are all marketable securities. They can sell it and liquidate the money. मगर this is better than raw cash क्योंकि cash does not produce anything but it gives you some sort of return although it is low but still there's a possibility of giving some small amount of return. So anyways, this is the structure of your uh, financial statements asset side. Uh, Next, we will move to liability and let me tell you if anything is left. No, I think I have discussed all the important pointers. बाकी जो line items है, those are not that important. इसमें income tax assets है, which you are getting back uh, from the government or income tax department. So all those stuffs are there. So those are fine. Uh, And also, please have a note that cash and cash equivalent, this is a part of the short term or let's say current investment. So let me make it bigger. Here you can see cash and cash equivalent, that is 553 crore. उसके ऊपर बैंक बैलेंस अदर देन कैश एंड कैश इक्विवेलेंट इज 229.6 crore. तो कुल मिला के 780 करोड़ 784 करोड़ के ऊपर इसके पास कैश है. इसके अलावा आपका शॉर्ट टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट्स भी है जो वो कभी भी लिक्विडेट कर सकता है, राइट. तो this is the structure of a company of the how the balance sheet looks like the asset side. In the next video I'll be discussing the liability side of the balance sheet. This is already uh, quite long, so that's why I don't want to make it even longer. So I'm going to discuss the liability portion in a separate video altogether. So thank you for your valuable time. I hope you have enjoyed and this video you find uh, interesting. It must have given lots of input. So if you find it really good, really helpful, don't forget to like my video, and please don't forget to subscribe my channel as well for various value addition to your investment journey, whether it is in the form of learning or whether it is in the form of information. So everywhere you will find, every time you will find value addition from me. Thank you for your valuable time and your patience. Thank you, and let's meet in the next video. Thank you so much.